He put a tweet out in response to your tweet, Arn. Great to see you both interact with this generation of talent. You mentioned Saturday night's main event. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. We all saw you there, Arn, sporting that four horseman vest. Yes, I know I'm shilling to the top left there. You can find those, by the way, at 1tsport.com. Those nice fleece horseman vests. But Arn and Tully, talk to us a little bit about that experience being there Saturday night. Tully, you shared with me it's one of the highest rated Saturday night's main events of all time, you heard.
Not one of the. And so that was kind of interesting. I'm not sure that Arn and I being there had a lot to do with it, but
I think it does. I think forget Jesse Ventura. They need to bring Arn and Tully in from now on to Saturday night's main event. I think that's the magic right there, the brain busters.
well, I'll second that.
Arn,
Well,
how was that experience Saturday?
well, it just let's face it. There's just a world class, first class company, and they brought us in and they treated us well, better than well. I mean, it was just first class from the time you leave your house. You know, they fly you in, put you in a nice hotel, provide a car service for you. The catering is immaculate. Everybody there is smiling, shaking your hand. I mean, the company is just, it's a place that I can look at every face backstage, whether it be cameramen or guys that are taping down wires, or the biggest stars in the company. When they're walking around, you can just tell they're glad to be there. And it makes for an incredible environment. You want to go out there and tear the joint down, and I can see how hard those guys are working and those ladies are working, to get the quality work where they want it. And it's not just a show that's on the air. Saturday night main event in the day when Tully and I were there, if you got picked to be on Saturday night main event, it meant Dick Ebersol saw something that he liked, and he was the big boss, and he wanted it on his show. He wanted you representing NBC and Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, speaking of first class, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I want to throw this on the screen. Triple H, he put a tweet out in response to your tweet, Arn. Great to see you both interact with this generation of talent. Always a pleasure to spend time with both of you. And he interacted with a lot of the legends that put tweets out on X throughout the weekend. But talk about just a first class leader and individual, and he made that effort to do that. But you said first class. Here's just another example of it.
That I've known Triple H since he very first started in the business with WCW, and I liked him right away. I could just tell. Here you got a young guy that's a student of the business, and he's studying and he's learning and he's asking questions, and the evolution that he's had to where he first started with WCW, and then he moved on. Obviously, his goal was to be with WWF. He achieved that goal, and to be in the saddle where he is right now is you've got a wrestling person with a wrestling mind, but he's smart enough and he's learned so much about the business. He's into every other aspect, the marketing, you name it.
Yeah, talent relation, all of it.
He is a well-rounded boss. And if I was going to, if somebody asked me, if it wasn't him, who would you put in that seat? And that nobody comes to mind. He's doing a phenomenal job across the board. And I'm sure TKO is very happy to have him and thrilled to have him because he's a leader.
Tully, what's great is he was a big fan of the Crockett era. It's on record. So, you didn't necessarily work with Triple H, wrestling wise, but what's that relationship like with him whenever you get to see him, when you make these appearances and you see him backstage? Because I know he was a big fan of your work growing up and watching the product.
Well, Arn's got a much closer relationship to him because his career was a lot longer than mine. But every time when I went up to the ring and shook his hand, he stopped what he was doing and reached over, and I just said, "Thank you for having us here," and and just kind of touch base. right before the show, hours before the show, is not the time to get chit chatty.
Sure.
Because everybody's doing stuff.
Yeah, but he just always seems very kind and respectful of those that came before him. And it's not, that's what I think I love about the Triple H era, is that you're seeing that he is always respectful and wants to make sure that attention is given to the veterans and the folks that came before the roster now, which I think is really cool.
Really is.
Yeah.
And the veterans, are the same way. They will cross the room or cross the arena to come say hello if they've seen you for the first time, and let you know that they're glad that you're there and all those things. It's just a great atmosphere backstage, which translates to a great atmosphere once the show starts.
They put over on commentary both the Brain Busters. Again, you can find this on our website, but also the Horsemen, Arn. So there was no, back in the day we're not going to talk about the Horsemen. Wasn't a WWF creation. Nowadays, the 4 Horsemen and the Brain Busters, and there's no holding back. And I just think, again, that's so cool to see that, the handcuffs are off. We're going to talk about it all and all the great things that these guys were a part of. So again, just something else that you can notice as a wrestling fan, which I think is really cool.
The one of the things that was kind of really neat the night we got inducted into the Hall of Fame was I've got a picture up in the hallway with Vince and the 4 of us and JJ, and he's holding up 4 fingers. That's the only time you'll ever get him to hold up 4 fingers.
That's right. That's right.
And that's a very rare picture. I have the same one up in my gimmick room. Brother, he had to have, down the road a few years, he had to look at that and go, what was I thinking? You know what I mean?
I know, but that's a humbling. Yeah, that's so cool, though. It shows you the respect. So I love it. Let's do one more shilling type thing, a promotional type thing, and then let's get to the questions, because I know we have a lot in queue. And that is on this coming weekend, Friday, January 31st, Saturday, February 1st. This is a huge appearance for you and Brock. It's WrestleCon Indianapolis, obviously big weekend for the WWE with Royal Rumble. But you guys are going to be there both days, taking pictures, signing autographs. If you haven't met Arn and Brock, or if you have, this is a great opportunity to come see Arn and Brock. And man, I know you love these opportunities to shake hands with the fans and get to say hi and thank you. And this is a big event. And so we're really hoping you come out in droves and say hi to Arn and Brock. Arn, I know you're excited about this one.
Indianapolis is going to be on fire. It's a great wrestling city. It's one of those that it's a great sports city to begin with, and they've always supported us wrestling wise. And yeah, with all the good things with the Royal Rumble in town and the fans that are going to be coming from around the world, because the repercussions, the guy that wins that Rumble, guess what? Headlines of WrestleMania. Don't get any bigger than that. Big time for sure. So make sure you come check them out. Say hi to Brock and Arn. A lot of other superstars will be there as well. And we're really excited about that. Now, listen, hang with us, because I have one more thing to announce. There's a big announcement here tonight on the show. We're going to do it a little bit later. We're going to give us some breathing room, do some questions. But there's another reason that we wanted Tully to be here tonight. So hang with us. It's coming.